Hello, everyone, and welcome to a brand new episode of the Ruthless Aggression Era podcast. As always, I am your host, Mel Matt, and joining me tonight is
AA, the infamous Ambrose Alley.
joining me tonight is
You okay?
yeah. I was waiting for you to
Oh,
introduce yourself.
I did. Didn't you hear me?
No, I didn't hear you.
I did. It's the infamous Ambrose Alley. AA.
Huh? Never heard you. Huh? That's weird.
Technical difficulties.
Yeah, but yeah, AA is here. Is back for the first time since I'm trying to remember when the last time you were on. It's been a while.
It's been a while.
I think it was like Unforgiven 2002, actually. I think.
It could have been. It's hard for me to know in my pre good internet days.
Yeah. AA has got new and improved internet. So we get HD AA here tonight. And so tonight's episode is going to be on a pay per view that a lot of people really remember fondly. It's the first ever SmackDown exclusive pay per view, Vengeance 2003. And I thought it was a bit apropos for AA to be on Vengeance 2003 because she was on the very first Vengeance 2002 episode, which also marked the very first episode of this podcast. And not only that, but Vengeance 2003 at the time was really sort of a celebration of sorts because it really was like the first pay per view to really mark like the 1 year anniversary of the Ruthless Aggression era in general. So it was real interesting to see what's changed, what hasn't changed. I thought this would be an interesting show to see.
It definitely was. The poor Easter Bunny.
Oh yeah, that poor bunny. So Vengeance 2003 took place live on July 27, 2003 in Denver, Colorado at the Pepsi Center.
Yes, and the Pepsi Center is a one heck of a stadium. I tell you, folks, it's amazing.
Have you been there for a show?
I've been there for a couple of shows,
Nice. And
and
is
it's
it
in the nice
Colorado?
part of town.
Oh, nice. Isn't Colorado the home of one Rocky Mountain Pro Wrestling?
Yes, it is.
So that's another reason to have AA on the show because AA is the our local Rocky Mountain Pro expert.
Yeah, bro. Sorry, Vince.
So yeah, I guess we can go ahead and talk about the set design and the theme song first. So that's something I'm always been interested in. The set design, I would say, maybe a bit more ambitious. Probably the most ambitious pay per view set in a while. Certainly better than Bad Blood for sure. We got three giant Titantrons. We got a ramp here. We got a giant V on top of everything. What do you think about this set, AA?
I really enjoyed this set. They used the space that Pepsi Center had to offer, and they used it very effectively.
Yeah, I think it's a really good set. Probably the best set since maybe Backlash. Maybe I really like the set for Backlash. Judgment Day 2003. It always felt unfinished to me, which maybe that's what they were going for. But for me, it just felt kind of unfinished and a bit lazy. And Bad Boy 2003 was especially lazy because it just used the bottom half of the Raw set and the Ovoltron for the original SmackDown set and giant blood drops, and that's about it. Here, it did feel like they were a bit more creative with their set.
Well, Denver's also a very artsy type place, so they had to be to keep They had to be artsy.
Yeah, Rocky Mountain Way.
I think it's just Denver.
Yeah. So, and we get to talk about our theme song for tonight. This is dubbed over on the network, but the theme song for this one was "Price to Pay" by Stained. And what'd you think of this theme song? Did you think it fit?
I think it did. It really set the mood and the tone for the whole show. It was it was very appropriate.
Yeah, like I thought it was a decent theme song. Probably my least favorite theme song so far. Like I've never been a Stain fan. I never have been, but it was an okay song.
Well, it's the only song by Stain I ever heard.
I mean, I know a few other Stain songs. I can't remember the name of them, but I do know them.
You know them if you heard them.
Right, right. Yeah, so I guess we can go ahead and go into the very first match of the show. And man, oh man, do we have an opener here. Eddie Guerrero versus Chris Benoit in the finals of the United States Championship Tournament. SmackDown has brought back the United States Championship. That's going to be their mid card title. How'd you feel about them bringing back the United States title?
I thought it was great because there needed to be at least another mid card title because they did have such a good roster. They needed something else for them to fight for.
Oh yeah, I agree 100%. They definitely needed it. How'd you feel about the design of the title? Because I love this title design. Probably this might be one of my favorite title designs ever in WWE. I just think it looks great.
Yeah, they really did a wonderful job with this design, and I did. It was one of my favorites.
I think it's one of the few WWE titles where there has never been a major redesign of it.
No, I think pretty much all they've done is they may use more of a lacquer in the colors and stuff and try to shine it up a little bit more.
Yeah. Like, I think the only time it's ever actually changed is when they added the new WWE logo to it. But other than that, I don't think they really did any kind of major designs with it. I think that just speaks to kind of how iconic it really is.
Yes, it's
So yeah. So yeah, we got some pretty cool stuff here. We got Eddie Guerrero and Chris Benoit finals for the United States title, and this is a great opening match. I'm just going to say it right now. It's a great opening match.
I will hold this by far as probably the best match of the night for me.
That's a tough one for me. Like there's at least a match, maybe two that I would give that to, but yeah, you're because it's a great match.
Well, it's got two of my favorite wrestlers in it. One thing, just laying everything out there.
Yeah, and both Chris Benoit and Eddie Guerrero made it to the finals of the United States title tournament, and I think this is very interesting because and they do tell a great story here. Chris Benoit and Eddie Guerrero friends for a very long time, so they sort of use that to say that they know each other so well, like they know each other's moves and they know each other very well. So I think they're really able to really on here without actually having to do a storyline, if that makes any sense.
It makes a lot of sense.
He's already there.
Oops. Almost spilled my drink.
Oh yeah, we'll talk about in regards to this match because there's been a huge alliance. One of the participants because Eddie Guerrero heel.
Hey, it's Latino. He lie, cheat, steal.
Yeah, and turned on to Jerry after they lost the world's greatest tag team, and like Tajiri ends up landing on the hood of the car. Eddie snaps and puts him right through the windshield.
Hey, you don't mess with Eddie's car.
Yeah, and that's exactly why he turns heel. But I will say this: it makes no heel. It makes no sense at all. Like his heel turn, it came out of nowhere. There's no build up to this at all. He just turned heel right out of nowhere, and him turning really didn't make a whole lot of sense because Eddie is like one of the most over people on this roster, and nobody is buying this heel turn. Nobody at all. Everybody is cheering for Eddie, even still. So it's clearly not working.
Yeah, I I can see that. But back then, they did tend to just turn their alignments for no reason or over something
Yeah, I
stupid.
mean, yeah, I mean, it's at least it was at least done better then as opposed to now because now people would just because it's just a lazy way out for the riders. Anything we can't think of anything for screw it, turn them heel, hope for the best.
Right.
Yeah, like Eddie doesn't really have a defined character. Like when he does turn heel again in 2005, it's at least better because now he has a defined character and he's going against someone like Rey Mysterio. And here, Eddie didn't really have that rival. Like I guess Chris Benoit could be considered one, but they never really feud after this.
Well, they never really built up a story between Eddie and the Rabid Wolverine.
Yeah, like, they did have one segment on the Go Home SmackDown for the show where Eddie ends up blinding Chris Benoit with car wax.
Yeah, but I mean, this is this feud. If they wanted to really go over, they just should have built it up a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. Like Benoit and Eddie are in a fatal four way match at SummerSlam, but they never really have like a proper feud after this. I think they do enough for this particular match, but I think in terms of a long term storyline between the two, it never really.
But it was a great match. Of course, Eddie didn't win clean.
Yeah, like the finish is very interesting. Like the match is very back and forth for a while. Like a lot, like again, like these two know each other so well. They know each other's moves, so it's a very back and forth match. And so the ending of the title match really overbooked, but still really entertaining. Eddie goes and grabs the belt. He with the title. Frog splash. Benoit kicks out, and Eddie does try to go for like Benoit hit me with the title instead of work. All of a sudden, Rhino comes down to the ring, teases goring Eddie, ends up goring Benoit and turns heel himself.
Yeah, and I still don't know why Rhino did that.
Um, I will say this about Rhino's heel turn: it was at least better built up because there were Rhino and Benoit were a team before this, and they were portrayed as good friends. And there have been a couple of miscommunications between them where they would lose against teams like the Basham Brothers, and so there was a bit of dissension between them for a while, but it did seem like they were on the same page here. So they at least built it up a bit better here.
But both men laid it all out on the mat.
Oh yeah, totally. Like this is a great opening match. Like I'm usually not a fan of opening matches going minutes or something like that, but in the case of this, I will make an exception for this. Eddie Guerrero capitalizes on the gore, hits a frog splash on Benoit. 1, 2, 3. Eddie Guerrero becomes the first WWE United States champion.
Yes. But
I
it
think
was in
Eddie.
the beginning of the match, all those different holds that they were going into, showing the technical aspect they both have.
Yeah, there's a lot of great mat wrestling at the beginning of this match. And Eddie Guerrero as the first WWE United States champion, I think I would say a pretty good choice. I think.
I think it was a good choice. Well, one thing, bringing it back, putting it on someone who's billed from the United States. I think, especially in Denver, if it had gone to Benoit, I think there would have been some backlash.
Maybe. Yeah, because this was before he was announced as residing in Atlanta, Georgia.
Right.
But yeah, great opening match. Really enjoyed it. Probably, I would go so far as to say maybe their best WWE match because they've had quite a few. They had one at Armageddon 2002. They had one here. They had one at ECW One Night Stand 05. But this, I think, maybe their best match that they had in WWE.
Oh, I know. I just enjoyed it. It set the tone for the rest of the show.
Oh yeah, totally. Vince McMahon and Stephanie McMahon have a segment, and Vince reveals that he is going to Raw tomorrow to confront Kane.
Oh, yes.
Because Kane has tombstone Linda McMahon on the steel stage of Raw. And we'll talk more about Unmasked Kane and the Reign of Terror since he unmasked for the SummerSlam episode next week. But Kane has just done so many horrible things. And so it's interesting to see, Kane sort of starting to enter a feud with the McMahons.
Always good to enter into a feud with the McMahons.
For the most part. I mean, considering who feud with in the McMahon family, I don't know if it's going to go well, but yeah. So next up, this is an interesting match, a unique match to say the least. It's an annual match against two guys that we have not seen on the podcast in quite some time. Billy Gunn versus Jamie Noble.
Yes. That was a strange gimmick match that they had going. Or the reason for the match.
It really was. Oh, and told by Adam Rice that Kane is to be referred to as Mayor Kane.
Yes, he did win.
Yes. But yeah, Jamie Noble versus Billy Gunn. It's been a while since we've seen either guy. We haven't seen Jamie Noble since Mayor Series, really, and we haven't seen Billy Gunn since Unforgiven 2002. So it's been a while since we've seen either guy, and Jamie Noble has undergone some big developments here. Jamie Noble has recently gained an inheritance from his late Aunt Lucille, and so they have been able to get a lot of new things. Jamie Noble gets Terminator sunglasses. Nydia gets a mink coat. And probably best of all, dinner at Applebee's.
Yes, you can't go wrong. Dinner, yeah, that's a big upgrade from the trailer park.
Yeah, and Billy Gunn at Judgment Day 2003, Val Venus came back as the Val Venus character. And I didn't think it could get any more dated and sad than that, but Billy Gunn is now doing his Mr. Ass gimmick again. And again, it doesn't work at all. And even more, he has Tori Wilson as his valet, which does not make any sense. It makes no sense for her to be here. Like, it happened on one SmackDown.
Well, they had to give Jimmy Noble a reason for this match.
True, but it does feel very random. But yeah, the whole storyline going into this match is Jamie Noble now has a large sum of money, and he is money to, how do I say this?
To buy almost anything he wants.
Yeah, and to try and, I guess, buy the affections of Tori Wilson, I guess I can say. And if Jamie Noble ends up winning the match against Billy Gunn here, Tori and Jamie will, how do I say this again?
Spend a night together.
Yes, spend a night together live next week on SmackDown. Well, maybe not live because it's taped back then, but they will do the deed, I guess, on SmackDown. So this match, Jamie Noble ends up bringing out a briefcase full of how do I say this again? Oh, this is so awkward to talk about.
Yeah, this one is kind of hard to figure out how to say.
Yeah, full of toys.
Sexual toys.
Yes. Yeah. And Billy Gunn like kicks the briefcase in Jamie Noble's face. Billy Gunn really does some good stuff here. Like, Billy Gunn had an injury for a long time. That's why we haven't seen him in a while. And, you know, he really is doing some good work here the past few weeks. Like, he's really done a good job. Billy Gunn hits the Colossus on Jamie Noble. And it looks so much better than Jinder's. It looks so much better because he gets a lot more height.
Yeah. But we won't go into Jinder.
No. So Nydia ends up coming out to the ring and ends up putting Billy Gunn's foot on the ropes. And Tori Wilson and Nydia take turns slapping Jamie Noble.
Well, Jamie Noble will be lucky he didn't get slapped by Stephanie McMahon.
Yeah.
He would have never gotten up from that.
No. And Stephanie McMahon's going to have her hands full as well later on. But yeah, so Jamie Noble ends up rolling up Billy Gunn for the win. This was actually a pretty good match. I wasn't expecting much out of this, but this was actually a pretty good match. They weren't given a lot of time, but they definitely made the most with what they got.
Oh, yeah, and the facial expressions on both their faces during the match was great.
Yeah, both guys did a really good job. So backstage, Funaki interviews the APA. And the APA invites Funaki to the Bar Room Brawl, the first ever APA Invitational Bar Room Brawl, and they come across the Easter Bunny, hippity hopping on his way to Easter.
Poor little Easter Bunny.
It's the GIF I posted in the daily today. I just thought that would be really funny. So the next match, I cannot wait to talk about this match. I'm just going to say right now, my favorite match of the night. Maybe I just really enjoy this match. So, is the first ever APA Invitational Bar Room Brawl, and man, look at all the stars here. So I guess we can go ahead and talk about everybody that's in this match. We got the APA, of course, Shannon Moore, Doink the Clown, Brother Love, the full-blooded Italians, Matt Hardy, Canyon, the Basham Brothers, the Easter Bunny, Sean O'Hare, John Hennigan, Orlando Jordan, Funaki, Los Conquistadors, the Brooklyn Brawler, Matt Capitelli, and finally, Brian Spanky Kendrick.
I cannot see that. No, Spanky. That just. I like the Brian Kendrick.
Yeah, same here. And Brian Kendrick has just fallen down the cards so fast. Like he's barely on SmackDown anymore.
But this was fun. It was just an all-out fun.
Really was.
I'm surprised they kept it contained in that little area. They didn't take it everywhere.
Yeah, the little area they are in, little bar set up like on the left side of the stage. It's like a saloon. There's like a bar, the saloon doors. Like it's a really great looking set.
Yes, and they got all those people in there fighting, and it was just fun.
Yeah, and during Matt Hardy's entrance, we get our Matt fact for the night. Matt hates bar fights.
Yes.
Even though he's participating in a bar fight tonight. Yeah, like just a lot of guys here. It basically screams we're not booked for the show.
It's kind of like an over-the-top battle royal or whatever.
Pretty much, but they're at least creative here. So we got some interesting legends here. We got Doink the Clown, and do you know who plays him tonight?
No.
Nick Dinsmore, a.k.a. Eugene.
Oh, wow.
And we also got the Conquistadors here. Do you know who plays them?
Nope.
One of them is played by Rob Conway, who ended up getting called up to the main roster the very next month as a member of La Resistance. And the other Conquistador was Johnny Jeter, who would end up becoming Johnny of the Spirit Squad.
Now, that is some interesting facts that I didn't know.
Yeah, some interesting trivia. So this match is just, it's insane. Like, it is absolutely insane. So we get Brother Love doing a little promo. Hold on just a minute there. Just because I love you doesn't mean I like you. So what I want you to do, Sister AA, is to close your eyes, bow your head, and forgiveness. I love you.
If you say so, bro.
I have to do the Brother Love imitation every time he's mentioned here. It's a shame poor Mox isn't here. I would have done it for him because he had to listen to his theme song for WWE Anthology.
Oh, poor Mox.
So yeah, Brother Love ends up starting in a prayer and ends up hitting someone. I'm trying to remember who it was. I think it was the Conquistadors.
With the barroom stool.
Yeah, the bar stool and just chaos. Oh, and did you notice Sean O'Hare kind of breaking character and laughing during Brother Love's promo?
Well, what got me was seeing Bradshaw being so respectful and solemn about the whole thing.
Yeah, and so the brawler ends up choking out Doink, which is kind of funny when you consider that Steve Lombardi was one of the people to play Doink. Sean O'Hare stands on the bar itself, and like takes out like these hits the APA with it. Shannon Ward just dives off everyone, and Brother Love like smashes Shannon Moore in a mirror. Like he really is just like holding his own here. Like it's shocking.
Well, you can't put anything past Brother Love.
I think Doink ends up going through the saloon window, and the Easter Bunny gets driven into another mirror by Bradshaw.
Bradshaw really mangles the Easter Bunny.
Yeah, like I think at one point Sean O'Hare like turns the bunny's mask around and hits him.
Yeah, when the bunny's trying to get a drink.
I think probably my favorite moment in this match, Funaki, who has not moved from the bar at all. He's just sitting there the entire match, just drinking and drinking and drinking, and just stands up and he is drunk off his ass. He just falls down.
He played it well.
Oh, he really did. Like this was just a great match. So the end of the match comes when Brother Love is the final man to be eliminated, which just that just amazes me. Like that is just insane. Like you gotta put Brother Love over, man. You gotta put Brother Love over.
Oh yeah, but Bradshaw stands tall.
Yeah, Bradshaw ends up knocking Brother Love out with a bottle, and Bradshaw is declared the winner and the last man standing, despite Farouk standing right next to him as well.
Well, they're buddies for life.
Yeah, so this was a fun match. I love this match. This was absolutely amazing. I honestly wish they did more stuff like this. And yeah, that's one thing I forgot. The APA are back. I totally forgot to do that. The APA recently came back to SmackDown, despite Bradshaw being on Raw, but nonetheless, the APA are back. Bradshaw has a completely different look to him, his JBL look, and so the APA are back in what more or less ended up being their retirement tour, basically.
Yeah, but you can always count on them all through the years to get back together if they're needed.
Yep. So that was awesome. That was absolutely awesome. So backstage, Jamie Noble is looking at Tori Wilson's Playboy, and we do actually get to see a brief shot of the pages of the magazine,
which I wouldn't want to touch.
Just saying. Yeah, like Jamie Noble like rubs his head in it, so you can keep that copy, Jamie Noble. So the next match, it's the world's greatest tag team versus Rey Mysterio and Billy Kidman for the WWE Tag Team titles.
I was kind of let down in this match.
Yeah, because it feels like a very random match. Like Rey Mysterio, he is the new Cruiserweight champion. And he recently defeated Matt Hardy for the title, and now he is the Cruiserweight champion. And Billy Kidman has returned from an injury, and it seems like they're sort of teasing a heel turn with him, but they never quite go all the way with it. Billy Gunn has his hair cut, so it seems like that's what's going to happen, but it never does. The world's greatest tag team ends up breaking away from Kurt Angle, Team Angle, and they are now the world's greatest tag team. So there's a lot to take in. Mysterio and Kidman ended up winning a number one contenders match. Other than that, no interaction with the world's greatest tag team at all. So there really isn't much of a storyline going. Really, the only thing you need to know about this match going in is that Mysterio and Kidman won a number one contenders match for the tag titles, and that's it.
And I think they should have given Mysterio a little bit more time to shine.
Yeah, like honestly, I wish that Mysterio would just had a cruiserweight title match. I wish that would have happened instead, because we haven't had a cruiserweight title match on a pay per view since WrestleMania, and Ultimo Dragon just debuted as well. I wish they would have had Mysterio Ultimo Dragon on a pay per view. But yeah, I mean, this match it's fine. I would say it is a good match. I think it falls sort of short of the standards that the tag title scene on SmackDown is set. But this is still a pretty good match. World's Greatest Tag Team does some good work. Kim and Mysterio do exactly what you expect them now. They do all of that. They get a 619 and a shooting star press. All of that. The World's Greatest Tag Team ends up hitting a Doomsday device on Mysterio. Just misses it. World's Greatest Tag Team retains the titles.
Yeah. I said it was, as you said, it was just a match. Well, to me, it was a match that was there.
Right. Like, it probably should have been on SmackDown instead. I think this would have been better on SmackDown because it's a good match. It's a decent to good match, but I think it's also because there is no story to this. It probably would have been better as just kind of a marquee matchup on SmackDown rather than a pay-per-view.
Yeah. You needed the stories.
All right, so next matchup, Sable versus Stephanie McMahon in a no count out catfight match.
And boy, did they get vicious.
Yeah, like the whole storyline here is that Sable has become Mr. McMahon's mistress, and as well as the assistant for Stephanie McMahon on SmackDown. Stephanie McMahon not taking kindly to that, so it's this match. And there's not much to say about this. There just isn't. Sable runs away from Stephanie for most of the match. Sable gets a couple of moves in, but for the most part, it really is just Stephanie just kind of tackling Sable and just slapping her. It's that kind of a match.
Yeah. They could have done more with it.
I mean, they could have, but at the same time, this match, I was not looking forward to this match at all. Out of all the matches on this card, this is the one I was least looking forward to because there wasn't going to be anything here. Because Stephanie McMahon, she's an authority figure. She very rarely wrestles. She's a non-wrestler. Sable couldn't wrestle at all, like back in the Attitude Era. Certainly not here as well. So Sable isn't even a wrestler herself. So we got two non-wrestlers here. So, I mean, this is just a bad match. Like, it really is just a bad match. I mean, I will give credit to Stephanie McMahon. She did seem.
She did see what?
It felt like she was at least trying with this match. Or she was actually putting some effort into it.
Oh, yeah. I gotta admit, though, she got some good slaps in.
Yeah. I mean, that's pretty much her finishing move nowadays.
I don't know. I think she does the pedigree better than her husband.
Maybe so, man. I haven't seen Stephanie wrestle in a long time, and I hope I never have to. So yeah, this was a bad match. It was a bad match, but at the same time, I honestly I was expecting a lot worse. They at least kept it mercifully short. Like I think this is the shortest match on the card, so they at least kept it short.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the match, it could have been a lot worse. Like the finish of the match comes when Stephanie tries to tear Sable's top off. Referee takes his own shirt off and tries to cover Sable. A-Train comes in, tackles Stephanie, and Sable gets the win.
Yeah, which is, why would that happen?
Yeah, like this is very random. Like there's no build to it at all. Like watching the SmackDown before this, you would think that A-Train would be in the APA brawl, but he's nowhere to be seen in that match. So it definitely feels like they changed plans.
Well, Stephanie sold it really well.
Oh yeah, she definitely did. And it ends up leading to a match between A-Train with Sable versus Undertaker at SummerSlam the following month. So it does lead somewhere. But yeah, it was a pretty bad match. I mean, it could have been worse, but at the same time, this wasn't a good match. By far the worst match on the card.
And we move on to
the match that everybody inexplicably wanted to see at WrestleMania: John Cena versus The Undertaker.
this was a match.
Yeah, the whole storyline, it really does go like John Cena has recently celebrated his 1 year anniversary on the main roster, and now he thinks that makes him a veteran.
And Undertaker takes exception.
Yeah, Orlando Jordan ends up debuting against Cena in an open challenge. Cena just barely beats Orlando Jordan, beats up Orlando Jordan after the match, and Undertaker saves him. And so this is really where this match comes from. Cena referring to himself as a veteran, as a legend. You know, it's some good heel work. John Cena actually is showing some heel fire for the first time, because to me, Cena as a heel, at least at this time, it always came across sort of forced. I don't know, like a lot of his anger, it just really felt like acting on his part to me. Like, I don't know, it just kind of felt like acting. But here, it does feel like he's at least improving.
Well, the little bit I watched back during the Ruthless Aggression era, I really wasn't that all into John Cena and his character.
I was kind of
Bradshaw.
to an
More Bradshaw.
extent. Oh, like when he was JBL, or like Bradshaw, like
When he was
APA
Bradshaw.
Bradshaw.
ABA Bradshaw.
Okay. Yeah, same here. That was when I could tolerate him. When he became JBL, I couldn't stand him. And not like when he became JBL, he got Miz heat with me.
Oh, that's going some.
Oh yeah. Yeah, but here, the match, it's fine. It is what it is. It was pretty much the match you would expect from these two at this point in time. It's perfectly fine. Undertaker really does have like a lot of offense in the first half. Like Cena spits some water on him, but for the most part, it's pretty much all Undertaker. They brawl around at ringside.
Yeah, and Undertaker gives it it should not have gotten a little cocky when he could have
like
pinned
Cena. Yeah, like, because Undertaker does end up choke slamming Cena. 1, 2. Oh no, old school. He's going to teach Cena some respect, like he did that punk David Flair. And so he ends up trying to do a move, and Cena ends up countering. And Cena does get some offense in. And like, my main problem with this match is that there's really no like psychology to this match. There just isn't. Like, I don't know. They don't really tell like a very good story with it. It's just Undertaker dominates the first half of the match. Cena gets some moves in. Undertaker gets the win. Like I don't know. There's just nothing to this match.
Yeah, it's just it's another match. Just another match that's there.
Right. So we do end up the finish ends up becoming a WrestleMania 17 finish. John Cena punches on Undertaker in the corner. Undertaker hits a last ride for the win. It's a fine match. It's a decent match for what it is. I don't know. It just felt a bit too one sided, and there was just a lack of psychology in this match that I think really hurt. I think maybe if they had done a bit more psychology on that end, or maybe it was a bit more back and forth, maybe it would be fine because I don't think Cena really got that much of a rub from going against the Undertaker, which is clearly what this feud was trying to accomplish. So I would think it really worked in that regard. I mean, solid match, but I think it could have been a lot better.
Yeah, and honestly, gotta admit, they're following that great United States title match,
Yeah,
and that set the bar for the night.
yeah, it did. So yeah, this next match, until Zach Gowen appeared on SmackDown, I completely forgot about this match. Mr. McMahon versus Zach Gowen.
I don't even know why this match made no sense.
Well, the thing with this match is that this storyline is pretty much it really has fallen off the rails so fast because this all started with Zach Gowen, Mr. McMahon, Hulk Hogan as Mr. America, and Rowdy Wright Piper with Sean O'Hare. And it just is just falling off the rails so fast because Piper ends up getting fired, even though he had kind of moved on from the feud. He was still around, but Piper ended up getting fired. Hogan ended up leaving due to creative differences, and Hogan was really like the big thing in this storyline. So now Hogan's gone. They sort of have no choice but to do this match. And there's not really much of a motivation as to why Mr. McMahon hates Zach Gowen. He just kind of does.
Well, with Vince, is he's supposed to hate everybody but himself.
Yeah, pretty much. And so Zach Gowen chooses to wrestle with his prosthetic leg.
He chooses to wrestle one-legged.
Yep. Because Zach Gowen is a one-legged wrestler, and this was his pay-per-view debut. He matches in W before this. He had competed with Stephanie McMahon against the Big Show in a handicap match where Zach Gowen ended up winning after Kurt Angle and Brock Lesnar interfered. And also another match where it was a six-man tag when he teamed with Lesnar and Kurt against World's Greatest Tag Team and Big Show. And Mr. McMahon takes him out of the match by giving him a chair shot. So this is really his first match as an official WWE superstar in kayfabe. And so
But
Vince is the.
it was an okay match.
Yeah, this match was honestly, this match was better than I thought it was going to be. Because I wasn't really sure what to expect, but this was actually a pretty good match. Vince starts as the aggressor, and he ends up targeting Zach Gowen's only leg. And Zach Gowen ends up making a comeback, pulling Vince and squashing his
Grapefruits
via the ring post. Yeah, grapefruits in the ring post. And smashes his knee in the ring post as well. Mr. McMahon ends up going for a chair, and Zach Gowen ends up drop kicking the chair into him, and Vince pours blood. Like, this is a legit, like, Vince gets legit busted open here.
Vince gets busted open a lot.
Yeah, but here it was very like it was legit because he had like into it like the hard edge of the chair, and not the flat end, I guess you could say.
Right.
So Vince is just pouring blood, and Zach Allen ends up going for a moonsault, misses. Vince takes advantage, wins the match.
Yeah, but you got admit Vince did make Zach look pretty good.
Oh yeah, he absolutely did. Like, and Zach Gowen even gets a standing ovation after the match. So yeah, this was actually a pretty good little match. I was honestly surprised at this match because I wasn't expecting it to be as good as it was, and it was pretty entertaining.
I found it more entertaining than Stephanie's match.
Oh yeah, but by far more entertaining. Probably the best match since the APA match, I think. And so now we get our main event. Because last year at Vengeance 2002, we had a triple threat match. This year, we're doing it again. Part deux. It's Kurt
Part
Angle
two.
versus Brock. Well, part deux. I, in the words of Mox, I know we're good.
It's part. We'll just say part two.
Yeah, part two. But yeah. So Kurt Angle's second year in a row doing this match, and this is actually first pay per view match since WrestleMania. And I'm going out with a neck injury, and it was this. And Kurt Angle decided to have a radical new surgery where they like chipped off bone spurs rather than actually like just working on the neck. And so as a result, he's back in 2 months instead of a year.
It was risky for him to try that.
Oh yeah, totally. And in the long run, I don't know if it really worked, but in the short run, I would say he's doing very well. Like honestly, like Kurt Angle here, he is the best he's been in a long time. Like you can tell that this is not the broken down Kurt Angle that we saw in the main event of WrestleMania or anything like that. He is the Kurt Angle that we all know and love.
You suck. You suck.
And Kurt Angle returns as a face here, and it feels organic. It really does feel organic.
Like he had a come to with God during his surgery.
Right. And since then, he and Brock, at least in storyline, had become good friends.
And this is back when I did like Brock a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. Like at this point in time, this feels like a face here, mainly due to his friendship with Kurt Angle. He actually feels like a face for the first time. I think this was when Brock actually did like wrestling. It really just kind of goes down a little bit.
Yeah.
But I think this was back when he actually cared.
It's amazing. You can like Brock at one time when he cared, and then when you get to the point where he doesn't care, it's I'm not going to say heel heat. It's just because he still gets big cheers and everything. It's you. I guess when when the wrestler isn't invested, you don't get invested.
Right. Totally. Like, and it's the same thing with like a promo or something like that, where your character, like, if you believe in it, then the audience is going to believe in it.
Yeah.
So Brock and Angle between the Big Show, but Big Show overpowers them. Kurt Angle brings in trash cans, trash can lids, and the Big Show gets hit like a concerto with the trash can lids.
Concerto. I hadn't heard that in a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. Angle gets busted open, and Brock he sort of reverses a superplex, and he ends up power bombing the Big Show from the turnbuckle.
He was freakishly strong. Well, he still is.
Yeah. Yeah, like in a few weeks before this, they did a angle for the first time on WTV where Brock Lesnar superplexes the Big Show and the ring collapses. So Angle ends up just chair shotting Brock, and Brock ends up getting busted open. And Kurt Angle Olympic slams the Big Show through the Spanish announce table.
There goes the Spanish announce table again.
Always the unlucky table.
And by God, that table had a family.
So Brock and Angle go at it.
Pretty good match.
And the Big Show ends up trying to pin both guys and a 2 count. We get a double choke slam by the Big Show, and then Lesnar and Angle hit a double Big Show on Big Show as well. Angle hits an angle slam on both Big Show and Brock Lesnar. Angle pins Brock Lesnar 1, 2, 3. Kurt Angle wins the WWE title.
You suck. You suck.
Great match. Great match. I don't know if it's good as match with Taker at No Mercy 2002, but this was still a great match. Honestly, I would probably argue better than Vengeance 2002's triple threat match.
Well, I haven't seen Vengeance 2002 in a long time, so I can barely remember that one.
Yeah, I would say it's maybe better. I was more entertained by this triple threat match than that one. Even though that triple threat match was good, these three just really worked so well together. And Kurt Angle winning the WWE title, it makes all the sense in the world. It's a good redemption story, and it also serves as motivation for Brock. Because it ends up leading into a big WWE title match at SummerSlam the next month.
But I found it a pretty good pay-per-view, better than some of the recent ones.
Yeah, I thought this was a pretty good pay-per-view as well. I would say maybe the best pay-per-view since WrestleMania 19. It wasn't a great pay-per-view. There were a couple of okay matches, one bad match. But I thought this pay-per-view was very, very entertaining. I really enjoyed watching this.
I enjoyed going back and watching it, and I forgot how much I did enjoy Eddie Guerrero and Benoit going at each other. I forgot how much I enjoyed that match.
Yeah, that's probably one of the best opening matches that I can remember.
And then I go crazy with anything that's APA.
Yeah, that APA match was something else. That was awesome.
Love me some APA.
Oh, apparently we got some more trade for that APA match. Do you know who it was?
No.
Well, apparently it was Damian Sandow.
Really?
Yeah, apparently so.
Now that is interesting to know. There's a wrestler who was misunderused.
Yeah, like he was in OVW as Aaron Stevens at that time, so the timing does line up.
because we worked every gimmick they gave him.
Yeah.
That's why I guess
totally.
I felt sorry for the Easter Bunny.
Yeah. So yeah, this was a really good pay-per-view. I really enjoyed this one.
And I like how the older pay-per-views were shorter. They didn't run 4, 5, 6 hours.
Yes, because this was only like 2 hours and 40 minutes. It's a very short watch compared to like I don't know WrestleMania 34, which was like 15 hours.
WrestleMania 33 was too long.
Yeah, like all the WrestleManias are too long nowadays. I mean, I get why they are. I mean, but still, like it doesn't need to be like 6 hours or something like that, you know?
Yeah, and I sat through WrestleMania 33. I was there.
Yeah, you were there live, weren't you?
Yes, I was. With JBL's hat.
Yeah, being there must be a blast.
I can scratch it off my bucket list.
Yeah, like WrestleMania, being at WrestleMania in person is definitely a bucket list thing for me.
It's worth it to do it once.
Oh yeah, totally. So I think that just about does it for this episode.
Oh, this episode went quick.
Yeah, it really did. Like, it's kind of funny when you talk about a good show. There's less to talk about.
That's what you talk about. You don't go off the rails, and like we did a little bit, but
yeah, like it is funny. Like when you see a bad pay per view, like you can't stop talking about it. But when you see a good pay per view, you don't really have much to say. You know, it's kind of weird.
Well, that's because there's nothing really to point out and to harp on.
Right.
And that information about who was in the barroom brawl was great.
Yeah, there's some interesting trivia for sure.
Like I would never thought the Easter Bunny was Damien Sandow.
Yeah, not would have I. Like that's really cool. So I think that just about does it. AA, where can they find you at?
Oh, you can find me at Twitter at Lady Roshana. That's LadyRoschana. You can also find me on the daily at Cage Side Seats as Ambrose Alley. And you can find me on Twitch at the Violent Wrestling Podcast. No G.
Ooh, Violent Wrestling Podcast has a Twitch now.
Well, it's what I've been using on Twitch. Hopefully, I'm going to try to work it to where we can also do Twitch as well. And co-stream along with Rocky Mountain Pro because they have been also mentioning Violent Wrestling Podcast itself.
Nice.
And also, you can listen to the Violent Wrestling Podcast on Wednesday nights.
So it has a official day and time now.
Wednesday nights. We're just gonna say we got an official day.
Ah, nice.
Our time varies depending on Mox's schedule.
Yep. So you can find me. Go on.
I was just going to say, and hopefully there'll be no more technical difficulties on Violent Wrestling Podcast.
Yep. Hopefully not. Though I think the other night went pretty well.
Nah, I got dropped a couple of times.
Yeah. So you can find me on Twitter at Melmat15, and I can also be found on Cage Side Seats as well. You can find me in the daily and the nightly threads, as well as the NXT threads and SmackDown threads. And not only that, but also in the night I'm doing a SummerSlam Summerfest series, looking at all the SummerSlams one by one. And tonight is SummerSlam 2005. So we got Hulk Hogan and Shawn Michaels, JBL and Batista, and No Holds Barred, Jericho, Cena, Eddie Guerrero, and Rey Mysterio in a ladder match. So it was actually a pretty good SummerSlam for the most part. So yeah.
I'm looking forward to reading it.
Yeah, but it's going to be an interesting pay-per-view to talk about, I think. Especially that main event with Hogan and Michaels, where Shawn just oversells everything that Hogan does.
Well, Shawn does tend to oversell.
Yeah, but here it's really so over the top, mainly because apparently there was a bit of drama behind the scenes. They're supposed to have 3 matches, but they ended up only having 1 where Hogan went over, so. But yeah, I think that just about does it for this episode. New episode next week at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. Next week, we are going to have a first-time guest on the show. Shaq Stewart from K-Side is going to be talking about SummerSlam 2003 with me, so that's going to be a fun episode.
I can't wait to listen to it.
Yeah, it should be fun because I'm going to have to watch SummerSlam 2003 for a second time next week. So,
poor baby.
But I actually do like that pay-per-view. Spoiler alert, but I do like that pay-per-view, so I don't really mind watching it twice.
Okay, then you don't need a spear.
No. sorry, not a sledgehammer as well. So yeah, next week, SummerSlam 2003 with me and Shaq Stewart. Next week, next Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. So
6 p.m. Mountain.
6 p.m. Mountain. So, anything else that A before we go?
No, just thank you for having me on. It was fun to relive the APA Bar Room Brawl.
Thanks for being on. Like, this was a lot of fun. So thank you everyone for listening to this podcast, and we will see you all next time. See ya.
Good night, everybody.